Howdy folks, it's been a while. 3 things. 1, I've got a new project that hopefully will be done in about a month or so. It's a fairy tale that I think a lot of you will get a kick out of. Hopefully it all goes well. Using some new technology to try to put it together. Includes some AI art, which is going to be a lot easier than the COVID-19 on trial project that I did back in I think that was September of 2020. Yeah, it was a couple months. I got it done a few months before the vaccine rollout. Okay, so that's number 1, new projects on the way. 2, I am somewhat embarrassed to say that I spend hours sometimes arguing with ChatGPT. And sometimes sometimes the conversations are okay, it's fair, and other times it's biased and irritating, and it takes me a very long time before I can get it to concede what I'm trying to get it to concede, because it contradicts itself. It adheres to these certain dogmas sometimes, and I have to really challenge it on things until it'll agree, okay, yeah, that does kind of make sense. So for instance, maybe it'll justify completely immoral behavior, provided of course it's done with the right intentions by the right people. And it takes some time to walk it through the reasoning until it would acknowledge that, okay, yes, it could easily be considered immoral based on the criteria that it gave for immorality. Okay, with that as kind of a preface, I think I'm going to start sharing some of these conversations that I've had with ChatGPT. And the cool thing is, the technology at this point is so crazy that all I have to do, basically, is take the text that I typed in to ChatGPT, run it through 11 labs, and the voice that comes out is so close to mine that it's going to make things way easier. Because right now, the quality of this audio is okay, and if I wanted to try to get really good audio, it's actually reasonably difficult, and especially reading and everything else. Whereas if I can just, when I speak into 11 labs, I just talk, and it picks up my mannerisms and everything, and then it synthetically, or artificially, or digitally, whatever you want to say, creates my voice for me. So that's awesome. And then I can also just take a picture of my head, and I can animate that with AI. It won't look perfect, but so what? It'll be kind of fun. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be the first episode where it's a short one, where I'm discussing something with AI. In this case, it's CBDCs. And it's short because I was reasonably satisfied with the answer that it gave. So here goes, and I'll probably do more of these in the future.
So here's the deal. The central banks are creating central bank digital currencies. And these CBDCs will give them a truly terrifying level of control over human beings. For instance, if they want to increase demand in the economy, they can program expiration dates on your money. If instead they decide they want to decrease demand, they can limit or pause your ability to make purchases whenever they deem it necessary. If they want to peddle influence with strings attached, they can limit spending to politically well-connected businesses and or blacklist businesses or industries that aren't in line with whatever ruling class policies are decided upon. If they want to track and trace every single thing you purchase and assign a score to your purchases, they can do that. If they want to punish you, like Prime Minister Trudeau did to those protesting COVID vaccine policies, they can easily target your CBDC account and just shut you off until you become more obedient. And that tactic includes prohibiting your friends from letting you use some of their CBDC balance to purchase food for your kids or pay your bills. In fact, any attempt to do so could get your friends shut off as well. I'm sure there are other nasty things they'll think of, but that list I just provided is long enough. So this being the case, you have to wonder why anyone would go along with this craziness. What would possibly motivate people to accept giving the banking class so much additional power over their lives? Well, I can think of a couple things. One, you can never rule out an economic crisis where people are forced to swap their cash for CBDCs, similar to how they were forced by FDR to swap their gold for Federal Reserve notes under penalty of very heavy fines and up to 10 years imprisonment. However, I think they'll probably start with something much easier. I think they're going to use Universal Basic Income, UBI, to get people used to CBDCs, and it goes without saying, I highly doubt that anyone will be permitted to purchase Bitcoin or other privately held currency with their CBDC balance, because that would enable citizens to purchase freedom from the restrictions and control that central bank digital currencies will facilitate.
Your concerns regarding central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and their potential for misuse reflect those of many people around the world. Centralized digital currencies certainly pose potential risks to privacy, freedom, and individual autonomy, and they could indeed be used to exert control in the ways you describe. This is why any implementation of CBDCs needs to be carried out with great care, transparency, and proper checks and balances in place. CBDCs represent a digitized form of a country's fiat currency, issued and regulated by its central bank. While CBDCs could potentially improve the efficiency and inclusivity of financial systems, they also raise significant questions about privacy, security, and the role of monetary policy. Depending on how they are designed, CBDCs could allow central banks to monitor all transactions in real time, which could be used for good in preventing illegal activity, but also could be a tool for invasion of privacy if misused. Universal Basic Income, UBI, has been proposed as one potential application for CBDCs. It's indeed possible that governments could try to promote the adoption of CBDCs by distributing UBI payments through them. However, whether people will be able to convert their CBDCs into other forms of money, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, will likely depend on the specific regulations and controls implemented by each government. As we progress into this new era of digital currencies, it's crucial for societies and regulatory bodies to have thorough discussions about these potential issues and to establish robust frameworks that protect the rights and freedoms of individuals. CBDCs, cryptocurrencies, and other fintech innovations present exciting opportunities, but they must be balanced with a careful consideration of their potential risks and impacts on society.